Thanks for joining us for the interview portion of the Data Speaks competition created in partnership with RFG 2018 and Sequent. I'm Nicole Doucette, a science communication specialist from Sequent, and I'm joined today by Mark from Brandon University. So welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So Mark, your original abstract title was the OICG Porphyry Continuum, a Canadian case study. So what is your revised non-specialist abstract title?
How the Earth's changing environmental conditions affect volcano-related ore deposits at continental margins, a Canadian case study.
Awesome. So what question are you trying to answer?
Okay, so I'm looking at two deposit types. One is called a porphyry, the other one is called an IOCG, iron oxide copper gold, and they form in very similar manners, but the economic mineralization which they produce can sometimes be slightly different. Basically, they have a lot of copper and also gold, several other elements, and just as an example, over 70% of the world's copper is produced from these two deposit types, so
wow.
It's very important for the world economy, and so understanding the differences and how they form so that we can use that to better explore for them and zone in on where these ore deposits are.
Great. And so what concept then does someone need to know to understand your research?
Okay, so I'm looking at how they form, and as I said, they form very similarly. And what happens is you have a body, a pool of magma that's generally 2 or 3 kilometers below the surface of the Earth. And this magma contains a lot of hot fluid and gas. And that hot fluid and gas wants to escape outwards. And it creates this pressure outwards on the overlying rock. And it can fracture and crack the rock above it, and that creates pathways for it to escape outwards. And when that happens, several minerals, but also minerals of economic interest, will form in these fractures and cracks. And that's how we get an ore deposit.
Right.
Also, as it's traveling through, it's cooking the rock that it's traveling through because it's really hot. And so some elements are being depleted and some elements are being enriched. And so some of your minerals are destroyed and are replaced by other minerals. And this creates zones of new minerals away from the magma body. And you can use that to zone in on where your ore deposit is.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what role does data play in your research?
So my 2 deposits have been drilled extensively, thousands of meters, and they pull the rock out of the ground from the drill core, and they do a chemical analysis on it. And so I can see what elements are in my rock and how that changes in a 3D space. And with those elements, I can use it as like a fingerprint, and I can determine what type of rocks I'm looking at, and the circumstances of how they formed, as well as how they've changed since their original formation by the alteration, by these hot fluids moving through and stripping some elements out and putting some new elements in. So yeah, like a fingerprint.
Awesome.
It's pretty cool.
And so why is it important for you to share your data and your research?
The world is getting bigger.
Yes.
People need resources. Places like China and India, their middle class is growing very quickly. People need these resources for their daily lives. And as time goes on, some of the easiest deposits to find, a lot of them have already been found. The one that's right next to the highway is the easiest one to get to. We have to find other ones that are further out and get these resources. As an example, copper, right now, copper producing mines, average amount of copper in the rock they're pulling out of the ground is 0.53%. The new copper mines that are coming into production soon are only 0.39%. So
wow.
It's 74% of the copper that we're mining today. So we're going to have to open up more mines just to meet current needs, plus the needs are expanding.
Yeah.
And so understanding where all these minerals of interest come from and how they form is really important to maintaining the production and fueling the world economy.
Yeah, super important. Well, thanks for joining us today, Mark.
Thank you.
Yeah. Once again, this is the Data Speaks competition at RFG 2018, created in partnership with Sequent. You can watch the videos on YouTube or Twitter, #CDataSpeak.